Hey there guys, it's Rick Utze here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Today we're taking a look at two very cool air guns, the SIG ASP20 and the ASPEN 22 caliber. Okay, so before we get started, I want to say thank you to Pyramid Air for sponsoring AirgunWeb in these videos. Guys, when you're looking to get your next air gun, maybe like the SIG or maybe like this Aspen here, you can do so at Pyramid Air, www.pyramidair.com, and please let them know that Rick sent you their way. All right, so what are we doing today? Well, we're gonna be taking a look at these two very different air guns. Now I say different because, well, they're about as different as you can get. This is a gas ram driven air gun, fully self-contained. All you need is elbow grease and pellets. And back in the day, if you wanted a PCP air gun, you needed a hand pump, compressor, all of that stuff. You go out in the field, you better have a scuba tank with you or something, because once you were out of air, you're out of air. Well, that all changed. Well, there's been some guns in the past that have done it too, but really sort of mass marketing, the Aspen really changed all that. The Aspen has a built-in hand pump. Now, if you're used to pump pneumatic air guns, you pump them up, pump them up, pump them up, pow. Oh, okay, pump them up, pump them up, pump them up, pow. Okay, so that means you got to pump them up in between every shot. With the Aspen, you don't have to do that. You can pump it up, put all your energy in up front, and then go out and shoot all you want. Now, when you get low on air, you can actually use the built-in pump to top your gun back off. So you're really looking at two products that are both self-contained, and they're actually right about the same price point. So the SIG is a little over $400 right now, the wood stock version, which is the one I like. And then the Aspen is right at $400. Now the Aspen actually comes with an optic in the box, a really decent, just 4x32 adjustable objective scope. It's actually pretty nice for this package at that price point. The SIG does not come with an optic, so you have to do something. And rather than have these guns with different scopes, I wanted to kind of use the exact same scope. So this is the Hawke Airmax AMX 4-12. This is one of my favorite scopes for whether it's a Springer or your PCP, just a really solid performing optic. So we're gonna use the same scope on both of these guns, and let's just see which one makes the most sense for you. So I'm gonna break right now. We're gonna unpack all this stuff, get the scopes mounted. We're gonna circle back around and take a look at both of these great products. So let's get into what makes these guns special. So first of all, I don't really see this as a versus video because both of these guns have a lot to offer. They actually are some of my favorite air guns just in general. When SIG came out with their ASP20, I immediately fell in love with it because they really just dealt with the big issue in brake barrels in general, and that comes right down to this barrel joint. They have a patented lockup so that that gun stays true all the time, and that was the big deal. You buy a cheap brake barrel, and that is the Achilles heel. The barrel goes down when it comes back up. It may not always be true. They solved that. It's an expensive, Springer / gas ram brake barrel, I get it, but really you've got a gun, you're buying it once, and you're done. And by the time you kind of go through the learning curve of this brake barrel to that brake barrel to that brake barrel, you probably would have bought this 2 to 3 times over. So if that's what you're looking for, this is really, as far as I'm concerned, and a brake barrel, you really can't do better than the SIG. Now, on the PCP side, there is like a mountain of options that you can go to, but there's only one, really, in my opinion, that has this functionality, and this thing is really the key. The built-in pump really transforms this into something that I could tell anybody, go buy it, you're gonna love the gun. So with that said, and both of these being really kind of great air guns, I don't see this as a versus video. One's better than the other. One may be better than the other for you, or this one may be better than that one for you, but that's really gonna be all dependent on what you wanna do with it. So with that in mind, let's jump into some of the specifics. So again, this is a gas ram driven gun, single shot. You cock the barrel, you load the pellet, boom, you're good to go. You want to shoot again, you cock the barrel, load the pellet, and you're good to go. And it never runs out of air because the ram in here is sealed. So I've had people ask me, how do I fill my nitrogen gas piston? Well, you don't need to, it's a sealed system. That is sort of what it's about. So this system, I don't know if it's nitrogen or compressed air, I don't know what it is, but you don't need to fill it. You just cock it and shoot it. Now, you old timers may think that's a stupid question. Well, I've had that question a lot, so at least we address it now. This is fully self-contained. You just cock it and shoot it. We get over to the PCP, and what the PCP does for you guys who don't know is there's a little tiny air tank in here, and when you fill this up, this pressure gauge will read, and then you know that basically you've got so many shots until you get down to where you need to pump it up again. About 40 pumps will top your gun off. So if you start from dead empty, you're gonna put, I don't know, 120, maybe 150 pumps into it to get it full. When you're doing that, it's super important that you use the silicone oil provided and you lube the gun regularly and you don't try and pump it too quickly. Look, take your time. If you go too fast, you don't lube it, you'll burn the pump up and then you're basically out of luck as far as being able to pump it up in the field. But what I really love to do with this gun, if you have either a bottle or you have a small personal compressor, you can top it off the first time with the fill probe, and then from that point on, you're only ever just using the hand pump in the field when you need to. But on this video, it is self-contained versus self-contained. So we'll take the compressor out of the equation, and we're just gonna run this with the hand pump. So power-wise, well, we're gonna get to that. Accuracy-wise, we're gonna get to that too. Right now, you guys kind of know the differences. Oh, one other super cool thing about the PCP, and this is never gonna match it, at least not in this form factor unless SIG does something different. You do get a magazine with the Aspen. So you get 10 shots on tap. You can have very rapid shot follow-ups. It's got a really nice side lever on the side. You throw this back and forward, boom, you got your next shot on tap. You get about 10 to 20 shots depending on where you are on your pressure gauge before you need to top it off. The other thing this does that again won't ever do is you do have a high and low setting. So if you're taking super small game or you're trying to eliminate pests in the garden or just target shoot in the backyard at close range, you don't need all that power. Go ahead and run it on low. You take it out in the field, you want to go 75 yards with it, well, you're going to want to put it on high. You can do that with this, you can't do it with that. So this also gives you a lot more options as far as ammo goes because you have that extra gas in the tank. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and scope these. Then we'll do some basic crony tests, just get some basic numbers. Then we're going to shoot them for some accuracy just to get a baseline, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, so we've got the SIG ASP20, we've got our 15.89s. I am using the Caldwell ballistic chronograph and a Bluetooth enabled connection so we can capture our numbers. Let's take a few shots here. Ugh. .748. Now this is right out of the box. So normally I would want to do, you know, maybe a couple 300 rounds to get it to, you know, sort of settle down. But today we're just going to take them right out of the box and shoot them, see how they do. So we are anywhere between 720, what do we had? 727 to 748, so about 19. What do we got? No, we got a full spread of 23, so where's the low? The low was 25. All right, so 25, 725 up to 748. So we have an extreme spread of 23 feet per second. And I bet you over time, that's actually gonna reduce just as everything wears in. But let's go ahead and we'll grab the Aspen. Let's see how it does. Okay, so the first thing we got to do on the Aspen is we are at 2,000 PSI. Here's my oil. We're going to go ahead and pump this up to make it fair. Let's go ahead and unlock it, open it up, and we'll put a little oil in here. Okay, all right. So let's see how many strokes it takes. We're at 2,000 PSI. It came to me from Pyramid Air that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 10 pumps, we're a little over 2,000. So we're going to be a little bit, oh, it's growing. It's growing. All right. So we'll have to do about 40 pumps. Okay. So we'll start on high. And let's see what we get for our first shot here. Error. Okay, let's bring it back over a little bit. Here it is, 937. This one we had a little bit more of a spread. We've got 8 shots minus, well, with the error. And it started at 937 and dropped off at 896. So a little bit more spread there because the pressure's dropping, you're gonna have that. So the SIG's definitely gonna be more consistent kind of from shot to shot to shot. The big difference though is the power output. This is doing over 30 foot-pounds. And if I go back over to the SIG here, the SIG is doing about 20 foot-pounds, 19 and some change. Now that may vary depending on what pellet you're running, but you're looking at about 19, 20 foot-pounds with the SIG and definitely over 30 foot-pounds with the Aspen. So more power, but you're gonna have more variances. Now let's do some accuracy testing and then we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, so we're looking at a single shot brake barrel design. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, 5 shots. That's not bad. I mean, I would like it a little bit tighter, but really they're all in the same area. And gosh, I just need to continue to work on my technique some. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot another 5-shot group. We'll go ahead and see if we can do a little bit better here. Okay. Oh, I pulled that one badly. All right, that's better. Okay, so I think that was just a little bit better, but as you can see, it's all about technique. With a brake barrel, man, how you hold it, how you pull the trigger, where you put your finger on the trigger, where you put your thumb, all of that stuff, because the gun's rocking and rolling in the middle of the shot cycle, it all matters. So really, this really can teach you to be a better marksman over the long term, but it does mean you're gonna put some work in up front, probably a lot of work up front to get really, really consistent groups. Shooting a Springer gas ram brake barrel gun, there's a technique to it and there's an art to it. So let's take a pause now. I'm gonna grab the Aspen and let's see how that does. All right, so we're all pumped up and we're ready to do some shooting now. Now I'll tell you, I'm still shooting the 15.89s in this. I did try it on low power just to kind of get a baseline. And on low power, this is doing basically exactly what the SIG is. So at low power, this is doing 740-ish, 738, 740 in that range. So you'll get the same amount of power from this on low power that you do out of the SIG. So just if you want to know, this is about 20 foot-pounds on low and 30 foot-pounds on high. All right, so we're going to shoot on high power. And let's see how I do here. I'm shooting the 15.89s. We'll do 5 shots, two 5-shot groups here, and we'll just walk through it. Okay, so major difference in how the gun shoots as far as the shooting cycle goes. There's like no recoil. It's like beep and it's done. So big, big difference there. All right, so 4 in basically the same hole, and I kind of pushed one, but that's what you're gonna get out of this and a PCP. Very little need for a lot of technique like you have with the brake barrel. I mean, you need to have good technique, good follow through, good trigger control, but not like you do on a brake barrel. So this is more like shooting a 22 long rifle, and a lot easier, a lot easier to get repeatable accuracy, so much easier. Oh, chunked that. Okay. I think what happened on that last couple shots, yep, we're getting down into the lower part of the tank. So first 5 shots, really consistent. Second 5 shots, it started to drop. So there's some of the variances that you're gonna get with this kind of a PCP. Now I could have pumped up in between the shot groups and we wouldn't have had any variance. So it's kind of an interesting little dilemma you got here. What are you going to go? You're going to go PCP, self-contained, or are you going to go the SIG, which is just a really nice brake barrel? I don't know. Do you know? Let's wrap this up. I don't know if I made more questions for you than I gave you answers. And I didn't plan on that, but it looks like that's sort of the way it went, just because these guns are so very different. And the whole shooting cycle and the way you're going to shoot them is so very different. Both really good guns, entry level and top of the line, but on completely different types of platforms. So if you have any questions, and I'm sure you do, be sure to put them in the comments. Either myself or maybe one of our other viewers is going to jump in there and help give you some answers so that you find just the right air gun for what you're looking to do. For now, my name is Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Thanks for watching.